great moral issue of our time. Of morality into politics today. There is something profoundly wrong when the top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. We have seen a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires, yet the average American is working longer hours for lower wages, and we have, shamefully, the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. That has got to change. That will change. Is sending a message to the billionaire class. Yes, we have the guts to take you on. that said that official unemployment was 5.3%. But what they forgot to tell you is that statistic did not include those people who have given up looking for work, those people who are working part-time, and altogether, real unemployment is over 10%. And let me tell you something that almost nobody talks about, and that is we have a huge and tragic situation regarding youth unemployment in America. Last month, I asked the Economic Policy Institute to do a study to find out what real youth unemployment and underemployment was in America. And this is what they came up with. For kids who are high school graduates between 17 and 20, if you're white, real unemployment, 33%. If you are Hispanic, real unemployment, 36%. If you are African American, real unemployment for those kids, 51%. We cannot turn our backs on an entire generation of young people. That those outrageously high unemployment numbers for our young people are not connected with the fact that we have more people in jail than any other country, you would be sorely mistaken. Mind you, is that instead of investing in jails and incarceration, what about jobs and education? The United States to continue to have the distinction of having more people in jail, more lives ruined than any other country. I want our country to have the distinction of having the best educated population on earth. When we talk about the economy, let us be very clear. Millions of our fellow Americans are working at wages that are much, much too low. People should not as well. But here's the story, and I want you to think about this, because this really gets to the heart of what family values are about. If that woman and that family have sufficient income, she will be able to stay home for weeks and months to love that new baby, to bond with that baby, and that is maybe the most important thing that a human being can do. And here's the part. If that woman in Vermont, in Oregon, does talk about thievery, these are just some of the words to describe what goes on in Wall Street. The greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior of Wall Street drove this country into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And today, I find it interesting, by the way, that we see kids getting criminal records for having marijuana, but the CEOs of these large institutions get away with nothing. How does it happen that when the CEOs and big-time executives on Wall Street destroy the economy, resulting in millions of Americans losing their jobs, their homes, their life savings, nothing happens to them except they end up making more money now than they did before? That is no change. The truth is today that most of the major financial institutions are bigger now than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. Thank you. One, we've got to reestablish Glass-Steagall. Most importantly, we have got to break these financial institutions up. In which banks invest in small and medium-sized businesses, helping people buy their homes, not an island unto themselves. My friends, let me be as blunt as I can and tell you something that I think most of you already know. And that is, as a result of the disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United. As a result of that decision, the American political system has been totally corrupted, and the foundations of American democracy are being undermined. What the Supreme Court said to the wealthiest people in America, they say, guys, you already own much of the economy, you're already fantastically wealthy, but now we're going to give you the few that I have there. And that is my nominees to the U.S. Supreme Court will in fact have a litmus test. And that test will be that they will have to tell the American people that their first order of business on the Supreme Court will be to overturn citizens. That America must be a vibrant democracy, a democracy which has one of the highest voting turnouts in the world, not one of the lowest. A democracy in which any person in this arena tonight, regardless of his or her political views, you're progressive, conservative, moderate, no matter what you are, I want you to be able to run for office without begging billionaires. On another issue. A few days ago, I was at an event with Martin Luther King III and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, when we looked at civil rights movement. What we talked about were two things.
Black Lives Matter.
Number one, we celebrated the victory 50 years ago of the Voting Rights Act. It said that every American, regardless of the color of your skin, will have the right to vote. And as many of you know, 2 years ago, the Supreme Court gutted a very important provision of the Voting Rights Act, and immediately afterward, states all over the country began to make it harder for people to vote, move toward voter suppression.
Black Lives Matter.
In my view, voter fraud is a very serious crime that people who commit it should be punished. But the good news is there is almost no voter fraud. Is come up with all kinds of road barriers to make it harder for people of color, poor people, old people to vote. Suddenly you have all kinds of voter identification, voting lists were purged if you didn't vote in the last disgrace. We have in America today hundreds of thousands of bright young people, people who have studied hard, people who are qualified to go to college. But they cannot go to college for one reason. Their family lacks the money. It is not only unfair to those young people who want the opportunity to become doctors and engineers and teachers, but it is dumb if we're concerned about the future of our economy. Which does two things. First, it says that every public college and university in America will be tuition free. Makes life easier for people who are thinking of going to college, but I'll tell you what else it does in a very profound way. There are kids today in Portland, there are kids in Burlington, Vermont, who in the 3rd or 4th grade, they know that they're never going to make it to the middle class. Their parents have never gone to college. They don't know anybody who has gone to college. And they're sitting around saying, why should I study hard? What difference does it make? Who cares if I drop out of school or not? When we tell every kid in America that if you study hard, you take school seriously, you will be able to go to college, that will revolutionize education. Deals with another hugely consequential issue. There are millions of Americans today who are suffering under the burden of outrageous student debt. Some of them are here tonight. A couple of years ago, I had a meeting with met with a number of young people. And there was a woman who committed the great crime of wanting to become a doctor, go to medical school, and practice primary care for low-income people. Exactly the kind of doctors we need. She came out of medical school $300,000 a year. She left school $400,000 a year. All over this country, people graduate school $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a day, and they are paying interest rates of 7, 8, 10%. Now, I don't understand how someone can refinance their home today at 2 or 3%, and somebody's paying 10% interest rates on student loans. human beings, as people who inhabit this planet, as caretakers for the earth, we must understand that we have a moral responsibility to leave this planet habitable for our kids and our scientific community, on both the Energy Committee and the Environmental Committee, we talk to these guys all the time. They are virtually unanimous in telling us climate change is real, it is caused by human activity, it is already causing devastating problems, and we have a small window of opportunity to transform our energy situation and our energy system before the situation becomes much worse. If we do not act boldly in the next few years, this planet of ours, our only planet, will be between 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it is today by the end of the century. And what that means, picture what it means: more drought, more flood, more extreme weather disturbances, more rising sea levels, more acidification of the ocean, more international conflict as people fight for limited resources of water and land. Our moral responsibility is to lead the world, work with China, work with Russia, work with India. Away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainability. When we talk about issues facing our country, please understand that we remain the only major country on earth that does not guarantee healthcare is a right for all people. The Affordable Care Act has made some progress, but 35 million still have no health insurance, and more are underinsured with high deductibles and high copayments. It is my view that healthcare is a right for all people. And that is why I believe we must move toward a Medicare for all single payer program. I am the ranking member of the Budget Committee, which means I lead the Democrats in opposition. And let me tell you a word, it's important that you know what the priorities are of the Republican Party. During the budget process, what they passed was a budget which recommends to the appropriation committees to throw 27 million people off of health insurance. And when you ask them, what happened to those people who no longer can get the
They don't
Affordable Care
care.
Act or Medicaid? How many will die? How many will suffer? How many will end up in the hospital when they kids and our parents and create a nation in which everybody lives in peace. Dangerous world. We see horror after horror. We see what ISIS does. We see what the barbarity, the conflicts, people get blown up all over the world. And nobody has a magical answer for solving these issues. The other day I talked to the president about his proposal to bring forth a process for Iran not to be able to get a nuclear weapon, but to do it without going to war. I'm the former chairman of the Senate Veterans Committee, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the cost of war. I learned that just recently, Afghanistan and Iraq, we lost 6,700 brave men and women. I heard and met with men and women who came home without limbs, without arms, without eyesight, without hearing. I spoke to some of the 500,000 people who came home with PTSD or traumatic brain injury. The cost of war is real, it is terrible. I believe that war should be the last resort, will work. I can't promise you that. It was a complicated agreement involving China, and Russia, and Germany, UK, and France, and Iran. But I think we have got to give that process a chance. This is reality. We can be a nation which joins other nations around the world in guaranteeing health care to all people as well. we have